I don't even know where to start. So much happened, but I guess I'll start with the fact that the corpse was real. Hands in the air, you're under arrest. The cops put me in handcuffs and told me I was under arrest for suspicion of murder. They read me my rights, and the next thing I know I was in the back of a police car on a ride to the station. When we got there, they had me step out of the car and walked me through the police station. I was officially a murder suspect. Now I didn't know what I was going to do, but I sure wasn't going to get them to believe that a piece of cheese did it. The cops wrote down my name and information. If my fate as a convict wasn't already sealed, then there was no question when they took my mugshot. After that, I had my fingerprints taken and the cops walked me down the hallway until we got to a room and they had me sit down. After the cops sat me down, they said they wanted to ask me a few questions. And at first they weren't that bad. But then they started asking me things like why I was standing in front of a dead body. There was no way I was going to say that a giant cheese monster killed the guy. So I told them that I found the body when I was leaving the bar. And apparently that just made them even more suspicious because they said that people don't usually stand around after they see a dead body. After they were done, they walked me out of the room, and when we got to the lobby I could see that I was all over the news. Murder suspect apprehended. I knew Greg carefully. He was a manipulative, selfish, narcissistic sociopath. It's no surprise that he did something like this. The cops kept walking me until we got to a room where they had me change into a uniform. They told me that I'd be spending my time in jail until my trial, and I'd have the chance to make phone calls during that time. I never thought I'd be the type to see the inside of a jail cell, but soon enough, that's exactly where I was, and I wasn't alone either. There was a guy with me in my cell, and he didn't look friendly. He said that I was looking at him funny. I said that I wasn't, and he said that someone in here was gonna get hurt real bad. That's when the laughter started. I turned to look and I saw a guy sitting in the back of the cell. I don't know what he was laughing at, but apparently my cellmate didn't share his sense of humor. The f*** you laughing at? At first, the guy didn't say anything, but when he did, he said he was PT, and my cellmate wasn't exactly impressed. Oh yeah? Well, you're about to be 6 feet in the pavement. He went up and punched PT in the face, and usually that'd be enough to knock a person out, but it didn't faze PT at all. He kept laughing, and eventually he said that it was his turn. I don't know how this is even possible, but when PT punched my cellmate, his arms stretched out like rubber. He sent my cellmate flying across the room, and I could barely believe what I was seeing. PT walked across the cell, and when he did, his legs and arms moved around like a cartoon character. He went over to my cellmate, and that's when his whole body started to get really elongated. He opened his mouth, and what happened next was absolutely horrifying. PT ate my cellmate, and all I could do was watch as my cellmate got torn apart by the teeth of whatever that thing was. I don't know what PT was supposed to be, but he sure wasn't human. When PT was done, he looked at me, and then just vanished into thin air. I was left looking at this absolute mess of a scene, and my cellmate's corpse laying on the ground in pieces. And I was pretty sure the cops weren't going to believe that some weird guy just showed up in my cell and did it. After a while, the cops eventually did come to my cell, and I'm sure you can guess who the #1 murder suspect was.